I'm up here this evening, like just as Mr. Penny mentioned, talk about public awareness for emergency and public officials. As part of our safety programs, we're required to make public officials and the public aware that there's a gas system so that they can know what to do in case of an emergency. The overview is kind of a gas 101 about natural gas and identifying a pipeline, natural gas safety. The purpose of the presentation is to communicate relevant information to the emergency responders and the public. It goes into all the different regulations and code. Natural gas is actually regulated by the DOT. It's a subpart of the DOT regulations under PHMSA, which is pipeline safety, and that's what we operate under. It's separate and unique to any other regulatory entities that do things for the city. The first is, where does natural gas come from? It's produced in the same places that oil comes from. They're usually discovered in the same fields. They're mixed together with crude oil and natural gas in the same structures. You know, it was laid down millions of years ago by organic matter, which then decomposed and turned into natural gas and petroleum. They drill and draw it out of the ground. Most of it used to come from the Gulf of Mexico. Now most of it shifted onshore to fracking from Texas and Oklahoma, and even up in the northeast of Pennsylvania, and all that region is really, really rich with natural gas deposits. What's natural gas used for? 31% of natural gas, almost 32, goes to industrial, which we've seen the advent of Hyundai, all these car plants, even though they're electric vehicle plants, they use a tremendous amount of gas. And all the manufacturers, so 31%, 23% goes to electric power. So a huge amount of our power in this country comes from generated with natural gas, and the rest is split between commercial and residential uses. Benefits of natural gas, most all of our gas reserves are in North America. A little bit comes into the United States from Canada, but not a great deal of it. Most of it is produced here in the United States. It's dependable. We have proven resources in the field that could last for the foreseeable future, 75 or 100 years worth of supply in the ground. So it's available there to use. The gas is transmitted from the deposits into the pipeline system that serves the entire United States. We get our natural gas from Southern Natural Gas Pipeline, which services this section of the state where we're at. They deliver it to what we call our city gate. That's where we take possession of the gas and it transfers over to our responsibility. And we distribute it out to our customers through our own distribution system, which is owned by the city of Statesboro, the citizens of the city of Statesboro. Typically, those pipelines consist of steel and plastic. In fact, all of ours are steel or plastic. We don't have any other materials that some people have. The high pressure lines, when we take custody of the gas, it's at around 400 PSI. All the mains that transmit that high pressure gas are steel. Then when it comes into town, we lower that pressure down to 50 pounds in some areas, 30 pounds in other areas, and most of that system is about 50-50 between steel and plastic. Plastic is the material of choice today because it doesn't corrode, and sounds like gas in a plastic pipe. That doesn't sound good, but plastic pipe has a really good safety history because it doesn't corrode and leak like steel or cast iron pipe does. Most of our pipes, our main pipe coming to town is a 6-inch, and then we get into town and we reduce down to mostly 4 and 2-inch pipes, and then 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch pipe sizes that go to the residence itself. This is a little snapshot of our system. You can see Scriven County, Bullitt County, and Candler County. We serve customers in all 3 of those counties. We take possession of our gas just about 3 miles outside of Sylvania at what we call that city gate. And then the gas comes from that city gate into Statesboro. And then we transport it on through Statesboro and all the way up to Candler. one thing this map does not show is it goes all the way out to the county line, which is, just, or at I-16. We don't go quite to the county line to the south.
Okay.
And it doesn't show that going out to I-16. Because most natural gas facilities are underground, people don't know they're there. And that's part of why we do the public awareness. And so that people know that it's there, and there are a lot of things underground: gas, power, all kinds of telecommunications, fiber optic, and the ground is around, especially out close to Georgia Southern, there is a lot in the ground out there. Those areas, not all of them, there are specific areas that are required by code that we have to put these pipeline markers. This is a picture of the marker that we use. It's got our name, our phone number, who you need to call in an emergency. It's got our phone line here, and it's always has 911 if you need that, and you can call 811 to get a utility located. Other ways that you can know that you have a pipeline in that area is you may notice a right of way, like a power line right of way, but it has no power lines in it. That can be an open. You can see them when you're going down I-16 or 95, and you notice you can see the pipeline markers. Or you can see what we call a regulator station, where the pipes come out of the ground. We have to lower the pressures down from, I told you, it comes in at 400, and we cut it down to lower pressures. And these regulator stations are where we do that. We cut it from high pressure down to low pressure. I mentioned pipeline markers in the 811 system. I know everybody's heard those ads on television. They do it on a national scale. Call before you dig, 811. That will notify everybody that has facilities where you want to dig. If you want to put a mailbox up anymore, you're supposed to call and get a dig ticket on it. And everybody who has facilities within so many feet around that area will come out and mark it. You'll see the paint on the ground or the flags on stuck in the dirt. And those are required. That's required by law. If a contractor goes out and he does not call and get a dig ticket that has been duly approved, if he hits anything and damages it, he's 100% responsible for the damage plus the outage. Just like not too long ago, we had a contractor hit a line in Metter during lunch hour, shut down every restaurant in the town, and which we referred all those calls back to the contractor to make those people whole. They paid to fix the pipe, and they dealt with the motels and the all the hospitality industry that was without gas for 4 hours. So it's very important. And that 811 is worked very well. If people follow the system, it does a really good job. A little bit more about the call before you do. We do radio ads, we do mail outs to our customers, we do some newspaper ads to try to let people know about, how to safely respond and how to use the 811 system. We send it out in our customer bills, and the 811 does a national ad campaign every year. Some of the other properties of natural gas we consider to be a very safe product, and some of its characteristics are what make it safe. It's almost 96% pure methane when it comes out of the ground. There's very few there's other things in it, but it's almost pure methane when it comes out. And it's odorless, it's colorless, tasteless, and it's non-toxic. You always heard people getting, breathing gas and it poison them. No, it won't. You can suffocate from it, but you can't get poisoned by it. And that's why we add an odor to at that city gate station that I was talking about, where we take custody. We odorize the gas. We put a chemical called mercaptan, which gives it that, always they say, the rotten egg smell. Yeah, we add that rotten egg smell to it, and so that you can know that you have a leak. It's in there at 1/5 of what it takes to burn. That's how little it takes to know to smell it. And it also has a very tight tolerance range for how it will burn. If you got less than 5% of a mixture of gas and air together, it won't burn. If you got more than 15%, it's too rich, it won't burn. So you have to have the right mixture of air and gas for it to burn. And so you know, and it actually has a high ignition point. It takes 1,200 degrees to ignite it, so you couldn't ignite it. See people with a cigarette, that won't happen. It will be ignited by electronic devices and stuff like that can produce a spark. But it's lighter than air. It rises when if it does leak, it rises and goes away. It doesn't pool or accumulate in an area. If it can get out, it will get out. And you know, about the specific gravity, we talked about the flammable limits. And you can, you know, other ways to recognize a leak other than the odor, you can, if you see a dead spot in your yard that comes up all of a sudden, it can like kill grass or cause shrubbery to die. You know, if something that's unusual happens, but usually if it's bad enough that it's going to kill some grass, you're going to smell it way before it kills any grass. Very uncommon. You know, inside your house, you're going to smell it at a very, very low level. Leak response, anytime you think you have a leak, leave the house, call 911 or our emergency numbers from outside the house. We will send personnel out to check it out and make sure that it's not dangerous limits. The fire department also has equipment to test those levels with whoever gets there first can check it out to make sure that everything's okay. But leave the house. Do not use your cell phone in the house or ring the doorbell or anything. Just walk out and leave it like it is. You know, our superintendent here, Joe Hollingsworth, our assistant superintendent, Nick Boggs. We have a small department in the natural gas, but they do a really good job, and we're proud of them. And if you call us, some of those guys will be out to take care of what it is you need. And that's the end of my presentation.